Hello, in this video, I want to show you how you can leveraging the regression function Dr. J build to run the regression models. Okay, so for this video, make sure you are able to upload your Tractor 7 Excel spreadsheet to your Jupyter notebook or Jupyter lab. So the second thing is you need to make sure you run through the previous code before you go into the last section. Okay, the previous code I already covered in the previous video talking about correlation metrics and the VIF. So make sure you have already running all the cells before you get into my last section here, run the regression model. Okay, so when we look at this run the regression model, so this is the function I defined. Let me go back here. So we're gonna use in this function one more time. Okay, so when we're using this function, we need to tell the function what's the value for df, what is the value for y, continuous variable, and the dummy variable. Like I said, for this notebook, I try to set up as easy to use as possible. I already defined a df in my data set, which is called a df here. So that's when you are importing the data. And then you can just directly type in the df in the function later we're going to use. But we need to define my y variable and a continuous x variable and a dummy variable. So if you do not have a dummy variable in your model, that's totally fine. And then if you don't have continuous variable, you are also fine. So this function is very versatile. Okay, so therefore we need to tell computer what is your y variable, what is the continuous variable, what is the dummy variable. Okay, let me scrolling down. So this is the data set I have. I try to use the rest of the variable to predict the sales price for the tractor. So therefore the sale price is my y variable, and then the rest of the variable gonna be my x variables. Okay, so let me move down here. As you see here, I already defined my y variable, so that's the sale price. So here is where you need to do modification if you use different data set, right? So let's see if you try to predict gas efficiency, MPG. So in your data set, that column is called MPG, that is your y variable. Then you need to change that correspondingly to that y variable's name, okay? And also don't forget about the quotation mark here. And then the second is the continuous variable. Okay, go back and look at my data set. What are my continuous variables? So my continuous variable have horsepower, age, engine, diesel, forward. Oh, sorry, not here. Had the horsepower, age, engine. So those are my continuous variable. Then the rest of them are dummy variables. So they are categorical variables, right? Okay, so if I coming down here, so I define my continuous variable, okay? Age, engine hours. So my plan in my first round here, I only want to use my continuous variable to to predict the sale price. Okay, I only want to use continuous variable to predict sale price. So therefore, I only have horsepower, age, and engine. So after I define my variable and the continuous variable, and then I can just type in this function I defined before, and I'm gonna run it again. Okay, so this is the regression output, right? So this is my coefficient, my p-values, my coefficient, my p-values. And then later chapters, we're going to looking at those tests, DW tests, JB tests. So at this point, just pay attention on the p-values, coefficient, and then we have R square here, adjust R square, and F-test and F-test p-value. Okay, so all the information we're looking for is in this regression output. Very similar as Excel. And one thing I want to call out is here, 4.71e negative 56. So what does that mean? So this actually is 4.71e times 10 powered by negative 56. So therefore, this is a very, very small number. It's almost close to 0. So basically, for current model, by using horsepower, age, and engine, and my model become very significant, and every one of my X variables has a significant impact on the sales price. Okay, so some student might say, you know what, Dr. J, I don't want to including age, but I want to including some of my dummy variable into the model. How can I alter in this code? So to demonstrating that, so I want to show you how that works. Okay, so let me copy my code and paste to the new cell here. Like I said, if you are thinking not using age in your model, you can just delete it, okay? And then you want to including the dummy variable and make sure you are including the dummy variable. You need to first define your dummy variable, right? Okay, So what dummy variable you want included? So let's see you're thinking, oh, maybe the diesel and the forward are the ones you're thinking might be able to help to predict sales price. So then you are able to call out those variables. So first, make sure you don't have typo in your variable name. So let's just copy it. Okay, oops. Okay, I'm copy diesel. Oops, there is a. Make sure there's no space and a comma. And we're adding second variable. So the second variable is forward, whether they are forward drive or not. FWD. Okay, so now we have continue variable, dummy variable defined. So here instead of equal to none, because we have now, we're gonna delete the none. Oops. Okay, so now in this new model, we will have two quantitative continue variable and the two dummy variables. Okay, after you finish do the changes, push shift, hold it, and push enter. Again, I'm using the Windows machine, so your shortcut on your keyboard might be different if you're using the Mac. If you cannot find any shortcut, make sure you come here, go to run select cell. Okay, so that's gonna give you the same result. So now you can see this is my new model. Okay, so my new model are exploring if I can use horsepower engine diesel forward to forecasting the sale price. Okay, so the R square is 5.84, used to be 5615. So in terms of goodness of fit, the first model is doing better, right? If we look at the significance, so both model have E negative 56, E negative 50. So obviously the previous model is more significant because the F is the p-value is much smaller. You also can look at your F statistic, right? The previous F statistic is much larger than the current one. And then let's look exploring the variable itself. So the horsepower engines, so they still positively correlated with significantly impacting the sales price, and the sign did not change, right? Horsepower was positive, engine is negative. But then let's look at our dummy variables. So the diesel and actually is not significant. It's 0.643. And then but the forward drive, it is significant. So as you see, my model compared the first one with the second one is a little bit deteriorating in terms of R square. And although the F test still shows significant, but the significant is dropped a little bit. Not surprising, right? If you go down to look at each individual X variable, you notice that before when we have my 3 and then all of them are significant. Now I move down here, I take off my age, which is significantly affecting my price. I take that off, unfortunately, and then adding two dummy variables, and one of them actually isn't have no significant impact on the sales price. Okay, so now I show you how you can leveraging the code I'm sharing with you here to work on the data set. Remember, watching this video, the most important part is to learn for this notebook. If you're gonna run your own regression model for your project, right? So where you can change in this code or alter this code so that you can leverage in this code to analyze your own data set, right? So of course, for me, I prefer my Python because the output give me more test result than Excel, because Excel only show us R square, F test, T test, but it does not show us more than that. They didn't show us the DW test we're going to use later on, and it didn't show us JB test. Later on, we're going to use it too. And also, Python allow us to get in VIF very easily. So therefore, starting from this week, we're going to start working more on the Python.